guys, welcome to another KamicarzCreations video. Things are moving on, a bit overwhelming really. I was struggling for parts there for a little while and now they've come in a rush. So I've actually finished off that fuel system. I found that I had a part that I'd ordered online, just a little AN8 to AN6 nipple, and I've sealed off that breather line into the fuel tank from the surge tank, and it's all hooked up and running. The wires are in. When you turn the ignition it all works, which is great. And I've been working on my extractors. They came, which has been absolutely brilliant, and they are a really nice looking set of extractors. If anyone's looking for a good set, in my opinion, they're quite nice. They're a really good set of extractors. So I've been working on those and had to do a fair bit of modifying on them. Got them all wrapped, got the O2 sensor in, and got them fitted and locked off. So I will endeavour to show you the process. The car's sitting there at the moment without the supercharger on. Got to do a little bit before I can put that on, but it's very close. So I'll show you what I've been doing. I finished off this fuel system since the last video. Got me positive and negative running to the pump, and she fires up when I hit the ignition, and I've got that overflow or breather line hooked into the back of the tank. That comes from the surge tank, and it's all looking good. I'm fairly excited. I just got a notification on my phone to say these had come via Star Trek. So that's the extractors. I'll unwrap them and have a look. Here's my Genie extractors. Very, very nice and very happy with the tri-Y setup. So they're, I think, 1.5 inches primaries, 1 3/4 inch secondaries, and then out to 2.5 inch outlet coming out. So I'll probably run a 2.5. I was going to run a 3-inch exhaust, but I think I'll probably run a 2.5 exhaust. These had to be modified sort of in these areas to fit up to Shane Barnett's Supercharger manifold that he's made, and around the front, around here, I had to take just the very front edge of that off, because on the engine now it has that snout bracket, and this is where the bracket runs out through here. Normally it wouldn't, on a standard engine it wouldn't matter, because I'm running that supercharger and need that snout support bracket. Just had to nick the front of that off. And basically I've just ground out the faces there to be clearance on the manifold, and I've got a little bit more work to do, but generally they fit up beautifully and sit on the engine really nice. The next thing I'm doing, if we roll these over, I've just run a hole into just after the tri-Y setup, and that's where my wideband O2 sensor will sit, and I ducked into the workshop, made up, that's an 18 by 1.5 thread that is on the O2 sensor. So I've just made up a little socket that I will weld into that hole like I did on my other extractors, and that'll be set up ready to take that wideband O2 sensor and hopefully seal up okay. Then I'm going to rewrap these as I did my last ones. So that's where the extractors are up to. When I machined that little socket, I just machined a little spigot, a location spigot on the bottom of it, and it fits perfectly. I've got a step drill, so I just drilled down through in that location with one of those step drills, and the maximum size, I didn't check it before I did it, but the maximum size on that step drill fitted beautifully. So I've just tapped that in. I had to tap it in to locate it, and she's ready to weld up. So I'll get into it. So my grommet's all welded in and sealed up and ready for the O2 sensor be screwed into it once I fit them up to the car. There's the extractors. I've only got one bolt in right at the top end here, but sitting up now. They fit absolutely beautifully. That tri-Y setup works down around the starter motor beautifully, and it sits just over the sway bar down the bottom. So very happy with those and happy with the fit. Everything slides on so much better than it did before. I don't think in the last video I had the thermo housing on there and that snout bracket. So I've fitted those up. I've used a gasket goo between the four faces, front and back of both faces of that snout bracket. And hopefully that seals off well. It's always frustrating when you get it built and then you get a little leak in that sort of area. That snout bracket has caused me a fair bit of grief with one bolt or stud that is a nightmare to get to and get a nut on, but I'll be able to do it. I'll probably put a sleeve over there, modify one of the little packers that Shane gave me and put a sleeve over it so I haven't got to screw it too far, but it's right up. The diameter of the nut only just makes it past that snout bracket. With all those modifications I've done to those extractors, the Supercharger now fits on over the studs in a good location with those new studs I've put in there that are got a fine thread on them and got a little bit extra length to them than the bodgy bolts that I had. It should be a lot easier to fit it up. I've just, now that I've got it all trial fit there, it slides on, everything fits in the right place. I'm going to pull those extractors back off now and do some wrapping on them, and then I'll be very close to locking it off. So here's the extractors in their final position, the Genie extractors. I've got the front bolt or the front nut and the rear nut holding them into place, and they're sitting there quite nicely and the manifold fits on nicely. I've got them really well wrapped with some fiberglass matting tape and have got them sitting right where I want them. So I need to do a little bit more work on the wiring coming out of the firewall just to heat protect it a little bit and start to work on the lengths and where I want them to go. And then I can fit that supercharger on finally, and I can start looking at the sensors. So there's that O2 sensor hooked in now. The extractors are wrapped right down to that tri-Y, but looking a lot neater job than I originally did on the other set of extractors when I was running the Carby. So pretty happy. So guys, it's been another great couple of days in the shed, making some really good progress now. I've got a fair bit of work to do on the radiator setup and the thermo fans to get my original thermo fans working. So I'll show you that in the next video. Got to do a fair bit of modifying to the Phoenix fan shroud to get it to all fit up, but it will fit. That's a good thing. I've proved that I can fit it. I've just got to make a few modifications to it. So thanks for watching again, guys. Please make some comments. I haven't been getting a lot of comments lately. Happy to answer questions and have a chat about what I'm doing with this car and other cars. So send me a shout out, send me a chat, get a comment happening. And if you're viewing this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, click that button, click on that subscribe button and click on that little bell so you get notifications. I try to put something out about every 3 days. I'll run out eventually, I suppose, but keep watching, guys, and take care.